All right, guys, welcome back. Boots come in pairs. Good to be talking baseball again. I feel like there's a lot going on, but also not a lot at the same time. We're kind of in the dog days of August, where the kind of rubber meets the road, but still plenty to talk about. Kicking things off, just kind of like where things are sitting. It's interesting to look at the standings, especially at this point of the season, because you kind of know where teams are headed. And it's kind of funny looking across the league. There's like a decent disparity as you look at each
Mhm.
division. Um, and not a lot of these races are close. And the AL is disappointing. There's no other way to say it than, other than the East, the AL is just kind of underperforming across the board, especially in the West, because you have, the Astros sitting atop the division 2 games ahead, and they're only 1 game over 500.
Mhm.
The White Sox are leading the Central, 3.5 game over the Twins, but the White Sox themselves are only 5 games over 500. And then the Rays are kind of leading the pack in the East and in the AL in general. 4.5 games over the Yankees. I didn't know there were 4.5 games over the Yankees. That's pretty wild. And then NL East, you got the Braves are 5 games up in the Phillies, and the Phillies made a tremendous turnaround. But this is where it, like I said, it kind of flips over to the NL is a little bit more of the powerhouse. Brewers only have a 5 game lead on the Cubs, but those are two of your best records in the NL right there, Cubs and Brewers, and that's definitely the most heated division race. And then the Dodgers have a 9 game lead on the Padres, even though they've been slumping quite a bit. Um, so that's kind of where things stand. And then your just regular playoff teams right now are going to be, the Yankees, Red Sox, and Twins
Mm.
have a half-game lead over the Blue Jays, who are 3 games under 500. That'd be your last
Wow.
wild card team. And then for the NL, you have Cubs, Phillies, Padres, trailed by the Diamondbacks are 6 games over, and the Cardinals now are 3 games over 500. So that's basically who's all in it. Is anyone surprising you right now? Besides, again, the disappointing AL side.
Surprise for sure for me, and they've been playing exceptionally well since the break. Is the St. Louis Cardinals?
Yeah.
They have been unbelievable. They've been doing it really on all sides of the ball. The young pitching has really come through for them, and yeah, just some really nice seasons from some really nice players. It's very refreshing to see a super hyped prospect like Jordan Walker, who we weren't really sure what he was going to be. We knew he had the power and could certainly swing it in the minor leagues, but really didn't have to have that body of work up on the big club yet. He had struggled quite a bit, got sent down. Really is still a young man, only I think 23 years old, but this season is having his breakout season. Is mashing the ball, hitting for a decent average, hitting home runs. He's got over 90 RBIs already, so he'll eclipse the 100 RBI mark. So, yeah, that's kind of sweet. Also, like JJ Weatherholt playing incredible defense in his first season as well. He
I,
may win the Gold Glove.
I don't think it won the Gold Glove, but after them being here this weekend and taking the series against the Cubs, their middle infield is incredible. They turned a
They're
couple of double
incredible.
plays that were
Yeah,
just absolutely incredible. So yeah, the two of them up the middle are that's not what you want to see if you're a Cubs fan, but very
no.
impressed with that for sure.
Yeah, and then Alec Burleson's having a fantastic year as well. I've always liked the guy, uh, straight mashing, playing a good first base. He's got over 90. I think he's got like 94 RBIs. He might lead the NL or be close to the lead. I think Abrams might have him by a little bit. But yeah, they're a fun team to watch. It sucks because we're Cubs fans, but can't deny it. And then yeah, like I was saying, the pitching. You got Kyle Leahy, Andre Palantine, and Michael McGreevy dealing, and they got a nice back end of the bullpen too. Riley O'Brien's having a really solid year as a closer. So yeah, I mean, to me, they're the team that sticks out among all the teams. They've really gained some ground, and the Central's tough. The Central's a really tough division. Most teams are at or around 500, and all of them are a tough. They're a tough battle for anybody. it was kind of a slug it out game against Cincinnati today. The Cardinals ended up taking the win 10-9, but lots of runs scored late, but no game's ever over in the Central. These teams just battle and beat the crap out of each other, which is kind of nice that they've diversified the schedule a little bit, because I feel like in years past it was like all these divisional opponents just beating the snot out of each other, especially near the end of the season. It seems like you got like 10 games against the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Reds, and then but yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more leveled out now with the schedule change, but it's
good and bad. But also I think that's why you're seeing these leads kind of increase across the league too, because like there isn't as many games to make up ground. Like you're relying, if you're the Cubs right now, you're relying on the Brewers losing games, which isn't really happening. And you have 6 games left against them, maybe 7. Can't remember if there's a 4 game in there, but like there's not enough time really to make up that 5 games on your own. You need help. So that's the one thing that the schedule kind of doesn't allow, is for you to kind of stack those games anymore, because you don't have 23 attempts at it. You have 12. Or what it's 6, 8, whatever it is. I mean, you have 2 home, 2 away series. So yeah, 12, maybe 13 games against each opponent. So yeah, it is kind of I think creating some space that's hard to make up as well.
Yeah,
we're seeing it
across. For sure. It'll be fun to see how it shakes out. And yeah, like you were saying a little bit earlier, it'll be interesting to see how the AL shakes out. It appears as if the bulk of the playoff teams will come out of the East. It's super competitive. I'm not sure which of the teams it'll be yet. I mean, you got, I mean, Tampa's obviously leading the way. Yankees aren't far behind. Red Sox are still, they cooled off a little bit, but they will, they're continuing to add pieces back. Saw a video of Crochet throwing in the outfield, looked pretty good. Roman Anthony hit a dinger first game back. He's coming. Trevor Story's coming back. Tanner Houck's coming back. So the Red Sox are set to get an arsenal of firepower and support late in the season here. So I'm sure they'll make a push and hopefully will overtake some people. But then, yeah, the West and the Central, we're kind of used to it. I mean, I feel like there's some years where the division's like up for grabs and there's a few teams fighting for it, but the West is confusing. The Astros usually dominate. They're kind of making their way back. Jordan's healthy, having an MVP type season. So we'll see if they separate. We'll see if anybody I haven't looked at the West standings in a while. Like what is the next closest team? Is it Texas?
The Rangers are 2 games out. Yeah, it's
okay. And then what are they, 2 games under?
They're 62 and 65.
Okay.
3 games under 500. Their run differential is minus 48, but the Astros. Okay, the entire West is negative.
Yeah.
So Houston's negative 31, minus 48. Seattle's minus 46. Angels minus 85, and the Athletics are minus 185. The entire, honestly, there's only 5 teams in the AL that are a positive run differential, and I know that doesn't really mean much when you have position players going, but like, there's only 4 teams in the NL that have a negative. So that's how big of a like that's pretty lopsided. And what's crazy is you could still theoretically, do you believe in the Rays? I don't know. Like, I think this is a race for the NL. Whoever gets to the World Series should win, in my opinion. But again, Toronto should have won the World Series last year. They should have beat the Dodgers. So like, you never know. You just got to get there and play it out. And that's why a team like the Red Sox, I still think it's valid. The comments we were making back in April and May of like, they did not build this team to win the World Series. Even if they go to the playoffs, even if they will go far, I think it'll eventually come to fruition that like, hey, we didn't establish at the beginning of this year that we were going for it, right? So I'm surprised at where they at, especially with where they started. Like they've really made up some ground, but it's just they didn't go for it in the beginning. Kind of went for it at the deadline, adding Adley Rutschman, but yeah, it's a little disappointing. My surprise team on the AL, especially, is I hate to admit the White Sox, right? Because of what they're doing, they mash as a team. They have some good. I think pitching is going to be a problem for them, but they have some hitters on that team. They hit a lot of home runs. they have 3 guys that are pushing 30+ homers right now with Vargas, Murakami, and Montgomery. I mean, they've kind of put a roster together that is competitive. They don't give up outs like they have the last couple of years, making a bunch of errors. So that's definitely a team that's taking advantage of its division, we'll say.
Yeah, and they have a couple nice pitchers as well. Sean Burke's having a really nice year. Martin was pitching really well until very recently. He's gotten hammered a couple times, but they got a couple nice starters. But yeah, definitely the bats keep him in the game for sure. And yeah, I mean, the long ball is definitely their ally. And you've seen the times that they've struggled when I feel like every team that they've had where they've had a sustained amount of success, they've been a big fly reliant, which is feast or famine. I mean, even dating back over 20 years ago when they won the World Series, like I feel like most of their runs came off of the home run. And when you have a power outage and you got to manufacture some stuff, that's kind of where you get into trouble. But I mean, really good on them for turning it around. They're already light years ahead of where they thought they'd be. And for you to be a playoff team and also have the number 1 pick in the draft in the same year, like that's huge. That's a monumental turnaround. And then cashing in on, my opinion, that some people might not have said, but that they picked the best guy. They picked the best player, and he's got a fast track to the big leagues. I think he's a guy you're going to want playing short. Like you're not going to want. I'm sorry, like Montgomery's not going to be your shortstop.
No,
like Rokshalowski is going to be your shortstop, for sure.
Yeah, that's the goal. But yeah, they've certainly going from 100 losses last year to now you're leading your division, a playoff team. Are they contender? I don't know about that, but they definitely put themselves in position to at least make the playoffs for sure. So again, in a division that you were kind of expecting, well, I don't. This is what I expect the Brewers to eventually do. Is like the Guardians aren't successful this year, and you're like, well, it kind of figures because they didn't go out and do anything. But like that's they just have the last couple of years, so it's inexplicable. But yeah, apparently things just not going their way. Shift to the Central. The Cubs are sitting 20 games over 500, yet still 5 games back of the Brewers. They are a playoff team. This time last year, we were still like, hey, let's just get to the playoffs. Let's enjoy being in the playoffs, whatever. One of the biggest things they addressed at the deadline was pitching. However, I think going into this postseason, especially where they sit today, we probably feel a lot better about where their pitching staff is at and who's going out on the mound. I think, game 1, we're sitting in that Brewers series and we're like, oh, like who's going to start? And it was Matthew Boyd, and it's like, okay, and he got shelled. I feel like they don't have an ace, but they have a bunch of legitimate options that you could pitch and want to pitch in the playoffs. I think this is going to play to their strength, and it's not going to include Edward Cabrera.
No.
It's not going to include Jameson Taillon, who was released. It's not going to include, Colin Ray or Aaron Savali.
Or probably Justin Steele either.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part is last year we were relying on these guys because they weren't fully going for it. And I'm saying this to say that I think they've positioned themselves to actually make a playoff push, to actually, commit to something. And again, just based on where they were at last year, pitching depth, they're light years ahead of that. And it seems like most guys they brought in are pitching really well. What do you think about their pitching depth? Do you think it's a strength now?
I am still not sold on it. And the one thing I wish they would stop doing, and I know it's just because he has the options, Javier Assad should not be in AAA at all for the rest of the year. He needs to be either in the rotation or first guy out of it. If you're doing like a bullpen game where you're having a starter go an inning or two and then have him go 4 to 6, he cannot go down anymore. He needs to stay up. He is such a valuable pitcher. He's a ground ball guy. He keeps it on the ground. I am, even though they added, I'm not comfortable at all. Like Edward Cabrera has been trash and they gave up a lot for him and he needs to be an ace. They were expecting him to be an ace in the staff, especially with Justin Steele being down. I think Kevin Gausman has not been keeping the ball down at all. They've been teeing off on him. He needs to keep the ball down. He needs a couple more good outings before I can feel good. His first outing was excellent. He's gotten hammered the second few times, and then he left with an injury. I'm really uncomfortable, to be honest. For me, I'll defer to you because I know who I would pick. If they're in a wild card series, who's starting game 1 for you?
Okay, so I don't think they have an ace. I don't think they have, even a 2. To be honest, I think they have a bunch of 3s. Yeah, who's pitching game 1? I just think they have more options, right? Last year, you're rolling out there with Matthew Boyd and Shota, who you don't trust, but you have to pitch them anyways. Oh, man. I think if Clay Holmes can keep building, because again, he's coming off an injury, a leg injury. I think by the end of August, early September, it's going to be Clay Holmes as the answer as your game 1 starter because he has the stuff. He's a big game pitcher. He's been in the postseason with the Yankees. He was a closer on that World Series team. I think that will end up being the answer. Again, it just depends on if he can fully get healthy. But I think you go into it and you have Clay Holmes, Peterson, Shota if he's pitching well, and then Matthew Boyd is like your 4th option. But then you're not even, dipping into the rest of the guys go in the bullpen. Is Ben Brown in the bullpen? Maybe. Is Justin Steele in the bullpen? Yeah. Maybe. I think the bigger question is who do you DFA when Shelby Miller comes back and Hobie Milner comes back and Ben Brown comes back? Who's got to go? That's what I think is an interesting question. But yeah, who's your game 1 starter then?
It's easily Clay Holmes. Best stuff on the club, most consistent, big games. Yeah, I like him. He's going to keep building his stamina up. And I mean, Clay Holmes is nasty. He's a nasty pitcher, nasty out of the pen, nasty as a starter. I'm very confident that he's going to be able to guy. And I'm definitely with you on that. Like, and thinking about it from that perspective, it's like, all right, well, we really just had Matt Boyd, who had a stellar year, and then JMO pitched really well the second half after he came back from his injury and in the playoffs. He was really good. But yeah, beyond that, it's like, all right, you're grinding out innings, you're taxing the bullpen. They definitely have more guys who can give you innings, which I feel better about that. I'm just still like, I just don't feel completely settled. I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, we've made it, we're locked. Like, I'm confident we're deep. But yeah, I mean, with these guys coming back, and I think Palencia is coming back soon as well. I thought they transferred him to the 60-day IL, but that doesn't mean anything. It was just to free up stuff. But like, yeah, the Shelby Miller is really intriguing to me. He was pitching very well before he got hurt, and they kind of took a flyer on him when they signed him, knowing he was going to be out for most of the season. But he's a really, really good pitcher. Hobie Milner is also a really great pitcher, and Ben Brown is probably the best pitcher on the team until he got hurt, and he's going to be nasty when he comes back. So I think you just kind of feel it out. Thielbar is definitely getting DFA'd. Got to launch him. That's an easy launch. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who else. But you just got to get like, who is going to give me the best chance? Who's going to be able to pitch in a multi-role, multi-positional role, whether it's starting a game, whether it's going long relief, maybe it's closing a game if someone's not available. Like, I want versatility. I don't want guys who are like stuck in a who are pigeonholed. I don't want them like, oh, I'm only a starter, I'm only a 1-inning guy. Like, a guy who is willing to do the things that Javier Assad does. I want all of those guys, whoever that happens to be, and everyone else, whatever, fill out the roster.
I think this pitching staff and bullpen, the way it's constructed right now, feeds into the way that Craig Counsell wants to manage this team. And it's using a guy like Colin Ray to cover 3 or 4 innings when you don't want to burn your high leverage guys, or use Javier Assad in a game that you're up, 6-2 in, and you don't want to burn more. All right, now we're up 8-2. We didn't have to burn more bullpen arms. when your bullpen gets short in the postseason, you only trust certain guys. You want them to be fresh, and this is where you can keep them fresh is by using
Right.
these longer relief guys in roles to kind of either mop up or finish out a game that is in hand.
Right. And maybe Edward Cabrera can be that guy when his blister heals.
I don't trust
Maybe he's
him.
the guy you keep. You think you leave him off the roster?
I don't think I think Craig is fed up with him, honestly. They were talking about the blister issues and they go, at a certain point you know your hand and you know how to throw things, and like this shouldn't be a consistent issue. Like you're a big boy, you can, again, I've never had a blister on my pitching hand because I'm not a pitcher, but like I can tell he's a little frustrated with the injury, and this is the second time this year he's had a blister. Like, let's figure it out. But he's been so ineffective in short stints, like letting up 9, 10, 11 runs. I was at a game, he let up 11 runs in 3 innings. Not even, like, and Craig just let him go, but like how are you going to trust him in any high leverage spot? I know he has stuff. We know he has stuff.
He's got stuff, but maybe it could be, and it hasn't been in the past. I mean, well, I guess it has. He has an MO for being an incredibly talented pitcher with nasty stuff, but just can't stay healthy, can't put it all together. I mean, look at what the Red Sox have done with Brian Bayo. He is, I would say, as a reliever, and they pulled up the stats, I think the only guy with a better ERA in baseball is Mason Miller, who has a better ERA than Bayo. Maybe he just doesn't have that starter mentality, and maybe if you did have it in gave him a shorter leash at least for now. I know you're not paying him to be that kind of pitcher. You want him to start games. You want him to get you 6+ innings an outing and all that stuff. But if you can get something out of him, like, why not?
Cabrera is young enough where this isn't like a career death nail, but I think for 2026 he's getting out of usable range because you're not going to use him as a starter. You can't trust him in a short inning role because he's blown up as a starter even. So like, how can you put him out there in a high leverage situation? I think the biggest flaw with this team, there's 2 with the way the pitching is constructed. You have no ace because Justin Steele was not able to come back. And even if Justin Steele comes back, is he a de facto ace? Maybe. And you have a unreliable closer, I would say. Palencia's got good stuff. He throws 100, but he's not Mason Miller. He's not Aroldis Chapman from 2016. So you're lacking on the 2 ends, that game 1 bona fide ace and that shutdown closer. However, I think they have a lot of options and guys that are pitching well. So that's where
I'd be closing Webb. Webb would be my closer.
Yeah. Today, he's been really good in high leverage. So, but I can only think back to last year and just how pitching poor they were, and really just relying on let's get the most out of Jameson Taillon for the start. They won the 2 games at Wrigley and looked really good doing it, but like I wasn't really expecting them to do anything at that point. Just like, all right, well, if they can get it done, and Brad Keller's closing games, and it just feels like they have a little more ammunition. I don't know if they have enough to go all the way, but they have more options. And this is the way that Craig likes to manage, is having options, and especially in the regular season, eating up those innings the best way you can, most efficient way, without burning people out.
Right. Yep.
And they're winning games. And and guess who else is winning games? Pete's winning games. Let's talk about that. I don't know when this the last time it happened, but hitting a home run on the first pitch and the last pitch of the game, pretty cool. And then leading off the next game with a home run. I don't know. Smells like MVP to me. Everything he's doing is kind of nuts at this point. I'm kind of not even surprised, but just how electric has Pete been this last couple weeks? I mean, just unreal.
Yeah, fantastic. To answer your question, Chris Young is the only other player to hit a leadoff and a walk-off homer in the same game.
There you go.
So Chris Young was a solid player, not as good as PCA is, but Chris had a very solid career. But yeah, has been very, very electric lately. Came off a very, very hot streak, entered a very, very cold streak, and then hitting some bombs again. Great to see.
So cold
Yeah,
for him though, and this is just for, I mean,
it was 3 for 20.
He's hitting though 270 in August.
Yeah,
Still pretty
still
good.
not
Still pretty
still
good.
not
So
bad.
yeah, he did go through a
Still
little
not bad.
stretch, but I mean, it's still better. Like his walk rate compared to last year, his walk rate was around 4.5%. This year, it's
Yeah.
over 11%. He's doubled his walk rate, and that's, I mean, he took a
closing
walk
in on
night.
70 walks.
Yeah, he gets down 0-2 and he just battles, and he wasn't doing that last year.
I don't know if I'm seeing the same clips over and over and over again on social media, but you look at the clips, you look at these like hosts who were high profile analysts, talk show hosts, former players, like all what have you, all the guys, everyone's doing a podcast nowadays, everyone's talking and all that stuff. I just like the first comment you see is like don't get oh my gosh, like MVP fatigue when it comes to Ohtani. Like don't get the MVP, still the best player, and they go back to the pitching. It's like, please stop.
Yeah.
Please stop. This guy's a DH who pitched a third of a season.
Yeah.
Like, we need to stop the nonsense. We need to stop the nonsense.
It's not MVP fatigue. It's legitimate.
Or voter fatigue. Sorry, voter fatigue is the correct term. But well, yes.
But like, I know what you're saying. Like Shohei, okay, like, you know, he's amazing, and like don't get like his numbers in his MVP seasons the last 2 years are dramatically worse this year in comparison. You know, again, he hit 54 homers, stole 56 bases. He's got under 30 right now, and I think he's stolen 6 bases this year.
Yeah.
It's not even close. And you know what? He's not pitching right now. And he's only made a handful of starts. So you really can't include that. He's, for his standard even of what his MVP looks like, is down. And you know, Pete's doing it all. He's a again, they don't want to use the WAR stat, and I hate it, but Pete has a better WAR. And a lot of it is defensive too, but he has better offensive numbers as well. So, and
and it just all it all goes back to, it's like, all right, well, when WAR is favorable for this player, it's a valid stat. When WAR is favorable for this other player, it's not as valid of a stat. And center fielders are overvalued when it comes to their defense. And this would be, if the voting ended today, and what if it ended today or whatever it projected to be, this would be the most underwhelming MVP of blah, blah, blah. Well, they're not talking about Ohtani. It's just when referring to Pete. Like, that's it. Like, they don't talk about Shohei's numbers being underwhelming. They're talking about Pete's numbers being underwhelming. So it's like, I just don't understand the hate for this guy at all. I just don't get it.
I don't think
and
there's
then to completely discount the defense. Like, how are we even, he has the most 5-star catches in the history of baseball. The history of the game.
I don't think
in
it's
one
hate.
Season.
I think it's just a wanting to prop Ohtani up even more than he is. And like, again, we know what he does is special when he's doing it. However, in his career, he has rarely done it where he pitches and hits. And, you know, again, I think his first year with the Dodgers, like first couple of years, like his numbers were undeniable. You could not, you know, and you can't discount one or the other, but he's not pitching right now. And I don't think he's going to get on the mound to pitch in a regular season game the rest of the year. You have to consider that he doesn't play the field, and he's not contributing at as high of a clip. And also, where would the Cubs be without Pete?
Not a playoff team.
Not a playoff team. Where would the Dodgers be without Shohei? Probably the best team in the NL. So, you know, it's just, it's an interesting debate. We will just let it play out, and we'll see. You know, if Pete goes 40-40 and Shohei doesn't, you know, pitch again, I don't think they can deny it. It's going to happen.
But the thing, like, he shouldn't have to go 40-40 for him to be highly considered, if not the front runner. Again, it's just all the things that he does on the diamond. It's just it's undeniable. And like, even they go back to last year. It's like, all right, well, like the here's the criteria. You need to hit X number of home runs, drive in X number of runs, steal X number of bases, hit for a high average. Like they're looking for all these things. And it's like if you don't do that in some way, and they're like, and this is why like Judge won over Raleigh, because Raleigh hit 260 and Judge hit 330. So it's like all this stuff. But here's the thing. If Cal Raleigh would have played defense like he did the year before during his offensive explosion year last year, I think there's no way that you don't give Raleigh the MVP.
Yeah.
Even if Judge is hitting 330 and hits 50 homers and drives in whatever runs. Judge was mostly a DH last year. Raleigh caught, which is the toughest position to play, and then also hit 60 homers, but he didn't have as good of a defensive season as he did the year before, where he was like however many defensive runs saved, and like his D-WAR was way up and all that stuff. So if Raleigh would have played the Platinum Glove defense, because he won the Platinum Glove in 2025 or 2024, if he would have played the Platinum Glove defense and hit 60 home runs as a switch hitting catcher, there's no way you don't give him that award. There's no way.
And it'll be, again, I think you're hearing probably the loudest voices, but I don't even know if those guys have MVP votes. I think there is a large contingency that votes based on final WAR numbers. And as it sits today, Pete's got a higher WAR. Again, I don't agree with WAR, but that's the stat they want to use. Okay, well then let's use it. But I think
by
that's
a significant
the way most
margin too. It's a significant margin.
Yeah,
that he's leading in that category.
And I don't know if Shohei can make it up, even if he does pitch again. So I think you just have to let it play out. But it is frustrating to hear that be the narrative. Although in recent weeks, I've heard it be a lot closer than they were originally saying.
Right.
I'm going to slide this in now because you brought him up. Cal Raleigh, compared to last year, is significantly down. Big Dumper, or as he is now affectionately known as Big Slumper. I don't know if you've heard that one. I found that on a deep, dark corner of the internet. So Cal Raleigh has less hits right now than he did homers last year. I would say like, oh, maybe he's injured, but he's looked really bad since the World Baseball Classic. What do we think is going on with Big Slumper? Because he's on a season-long slump now. Like, this is not just a bad April, May, slow start.
I mean, I think there's definitely been some hangover from the World Baseball Classic, and probably I would say like regressing to the median, but I mean, this is less than his median. He just doesn't look good. It might just be a bad year. That sometimes that just happens even to some of the most talented players. I think if you're a fantasy baseball person, he will be a good like low risk, high reward as far as picks. I think he'll probably drop a little bit in some drafts, but I don't know. I still have faith in him. I don't think he'll ever quite return to the 2025 offensive version of himself, but I think he'll hit 30 homers again. I mean, I think he'll be able to get back to that.
He's a negative 0.5 WAR this year. Again, I hate the stat. He was a 7.2 last year, and 4.6, 3.4, 3.9. I mean, it's just inexplicable. And he's still like, he's walking at an okay clip. He's striking out less this year. Well, not really, actually, no. He's got 125 strikeouts and 300 plate appearances. So yeah, maybe he's not making contact. I don't know. I don't even know if he's injured, because honestly, like, and you say like World Baseball Classic hangover, he looked like
bad.
He was bad in the World Baseball Classic. He could not hit, and they go, oh yeah, his timing's off. Maybe he's just not ready to play. I don't know, man. Like, this is not the mean. Like, 220, 230. Okay, for a catcher, that's one thing. He's at $156. This is Cody Bellinger post MVP range, where Cody Bellinger at 161.
Right.
I mean, he's not going anywhere. Seattle's going to hang on to him, but like, this is alarming. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. But again, things happen, and Cody Bellinger. That's a great comparison. And yeah, Cody Bellinger came off his best. It was his obviously best season ever, MVP season, and yet did terrible. Like, lost himself because Cody Bellinger, when he came up, like, he had an outstanding rookie year, and then he did have a sophomore slump where like power dropped off, average dropped off, walk rate dropped off. Then he kind of like built his way back up, and then he was the MVP, and then he had the worst season he's ever had, and then the Cubs took a flyer on him, and he played really well, and he got his way back, and it's just like it's a constant game of adjustments. But these guys, as long as they're given an opportunity, I know they're working. And Cal Raleigh is the son of a coach. I'm sure he's not happy with what's going on, and they're going to do whatever they can. He's going to do whatever he can to fix the issues, the swing and miss, whatever. I'm confident he'll get back to a decent level where he's hitting some homers, and this is just a weird year. And it all started with the World Baseball Classic, guys who were struggling mightily on offense during that time, and they just continued to get at bats. And it's like, all right, well, we're starting, we're sitting our best two hitters on the bench, or I would say best three hitter. Will Smith, Gunnar Henderson, and PCA were like the three best hitters on that team, and none of them started the game in the later rounds. So I don't know. I think he'll get back. It's just, kind of unfortunate to come off a season like that and play this way.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's a large sample size now. It's not too early to say, this is what's happening. This is the reality. And yeah, the drop off for Cody Bellinger from his MVP season, he was an 8.7 WAR, and then the following year he was a 1.5. Granted, he was injured. He only played 56 games, played 95 the year after that, but just couldn't get back. But there was an injury there, right? There was something going on. And with Cal, like he's missed some games. He's played 93, but it's not like he's, that he wasn't hurt before he wasn't hitting good. So yeah, it's just an interesting situation. But maybe this does speak to how good of a year he had last year as a catcher, because catching takes a huge toll on you. And this speaks even more to that he probably should have won it, even though he wasn't a platinum glove last year. It is so incredibly hard to catch and do what he did. And what we saw was incredible. And I don't think we'll ever see that exact season again. And that should have been rewarded with, here is your MVP, sir. Congratulations. Right. Regardless of what happens this year, it's not validating that you gave it to Judge. I still think what Cal Raleigh did behind the plate last year was incredible. And you're seeing the regression, but I think it's also the toll that takes on you. And
right.
You also, when you're playing that well, you're going to be in the lineup every day. You're going to be the DH if you're not, behind the plate. So there's no days off, and it's just, it's coming to a screeching halt for him.
Right. For sure.
Another guy who's, screeching halt. Kyle Tucker has had an interesting week or two, especially in the field. And this was coming from, I think it was Dodger broadcast. They were saying like maybe he needs to get away from the team, take a couple of days off, do something. They were also saying, well, Kyle Tucker's not really a good outfielder anyways. And it's like, what? This guy won a Gold Glove. I don't know. Like, so, we have to ask ourselves again, does Kyle Tucker just not like baseball? Like, you're on the best team and you're having, it appears to be focus issues. You're hitting 230. Definitely not living up to that contract. So what's going on? Is Kyle Tucker hurt? I don't know.
No, I don't think he's hurt. I just think it's just the weight of an incredibly ridiculous contract. I mean, I never saw him as being like, I saw him as being like the left fielder of the right fielders, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like, but it did win a Gold Glove, obviously. But yeah, seeing this is kind of weird. Like he did not play like this through June last year. I feel like after he got hurt, it was kind of more shaky. Like he wasn't really getting to stuff like he used to at the beginning of the season. But yeah, what we're seeing, I mean, I don't think he's hurt. He's not hurt. I just think he's not living up to the contract. I think it's weighing on him. I think he feels like he's walking on eggshells, but he still has that same Kyle Tucker look on his face. He's still got the Kyle Tucker just like mannerisms and approach, just that really like seems like, I know he has to care, but it just seems like he doesn't.
That attitude and mantra is only good when things are going good. When things are going bad, it looks like you don't care, you're disinterested, you don't want to be there. Yeah, so things aren't going well, and that's kind of how they feel about it. Again, can't feel bad for a lineup that features, 3 or 4 different MVPs and Cy Young, or like, can't feel bad for it. But yeah, maybe he's not living up to that contract. Maybe he feels that weight. Maybe he's not fitting in LA, because that's one thing that Mookie said is like, just because we have all this payroll doesn't mean you just come in and you fit in. Like, we still have a certain kind of guy, and if you don't want to work, this isn't the place for you. So,
Right.
and it's not saying that he doesn't want to work. And I have no idea what's going on with that situation. All we can evaluate is the on-field performance, and the the balls that he's missing have like a 99% catch rate, like rating. Like, they are balls that should be caught by a professional outfielder.
Right.
And he's dropping them. And
Right.
again, this brings up a side argument is I don't think outfielders are assessed errors like they should be. But, that's just my own 2 cents on it.
Right.
But I think the Cubs look very smart not giving him that contract. We were calling for it in June last year. We're like, hey, just back up the Brinks truck, give him the money. I think they may have won that one, even though you lost Cam Smith, even though you gave up something for a lost season, essentially. Not signing him, they were never going to give him that much, but seems to be the move. Although I would still take him over Ian Happ, regardless of what he's hitting.
Right.
But that's
I
not
don't
really
know.
a fair
Ian Happ's
comparison.
going to win another Gold Glove in left field. I think it's fifth straight.
I do not care. Ian Happ has 160 strikeouts already.
Yeah.
He'll set a career high and a career low in batting average, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how things shake out for him. It's year one. For him, I don't know if you can get any worse than this, but yeah, I mean, as a Dodger fan, like, I'd be really disappointed in this, but again, they don't care anyways. They're just deferring all the money, and there's no repercussion for any of this. Like, they don't feel it. They don't feel any of the struggle from this.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't. They're still in first place. They still have money. They're still going to spend it. They're still going to defer it. Like,
yeah.
There's no repercussion. They can just do whatever they want. And like going back to Dodgers are just doing the thing that you wish your team would do. Like, yeah, I wish our teams would spend, but it's like the Dodgers are spending, but they're really not spending. It doesn't go against their payroll.
Yeah.
It does, and even if it does, like, it doesn't matter because they can just pay a luxury tax and defer it and all that stuff. It's just not.
So I was listening to Jeff Passan on with Matt Barnes on the All the Smoke podcast, and they was talking about like the Shohei contract and stuff like that. And they go, well, the Dodgers just saw the opportunity. And that is what Shohei Ohtani brings in revenue wise. He brings in all of Japan. They have made over $1 billion. They made over $1 billion last year in revenue. First franchise to do it. They're going to do it again this year. But he goes, the amount of money they make from Shohei Ohtani is a pure business opportunity. And you know what? The Cubs could have done it too. Because he was going to bring in jersey sales. He was going to bring in viewership from Japan, sponsorships, all that stuff. The Dodgers were just bold enough to take it. And that you can't fault them for that. And same with Yamamoto. It's like they're building this, business model that's being funded by the world, essentially. And they just saw a good opportunity. But yeah, this Kyle Tucker doesn't hurt them because they just have endless resources. However, it does sound like the ownership's going to sell, so they may never even actually pay all this deferred money. Someone else will, and maybe they won't be as luxurious. And also, we'll see where the CBA lands. But yeah, I mean, if Kyle Tucker has a good October, because we know they're headed there, they're 9 games up in the division. The Padres aren't pushing them. All will be forgotten. But this season is long, and when you're not performing to a contract, it can kind of wear on you. But October makes people forget really quick too.
It does. It does. You can erase all your sins of the past for a few glorious weeks in the fall.
Yep. And we wouldn't be shocked if that happened. Ketel Marte is another story. This isn't the first time this has happened with him, but now he's kind of put on the restricted list, which is for not paid, almost like an unexcused absence. And now they're saying he might have a knee injury, but basically sounds like he just didn't show up to the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
But they're being very coy about it. He's such a good player.
Yeah.
But now we've seen this happen multiple times with Ketel Marte. What do you feel like's going on there, or just is it just the team? Is it just a situation? I have no idea what's going on with him.
Yeah, I feel like it's always been like mixed reports too. And it's like, oh, well, he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't see a future with this team. And then like I know it's as a teammate, team member, coach, member of the coaching staff, like it's your job to just squash anything negative, whether it's true or not, whether it has legs to it or not. But yeah, I feel like this time around, like Torey Luvello was again very stood up for him. There was another kind of thing with him and Gabby Moreno, and Gabby Moreno's like, nope, he's my guy, and this is what, yeah, we love each. It's nothing but love and blah blah blah. But yeah, he's an outstanding player. They're a pretty darn solid team as well. I don't know where else you'd want to be. Maybe a bigger market. He's been there his whole
Dodgers,
professional career. I think he's played. Maybe he had. I think, did he come from Seattle? I feel like he might have come from Seattle, or he got traded. But most of his career has been with Arizona. But yeah, I feel like there was rumors that in the offseason he was linked to bigger clubs, like going to Boston, going somewhere, and the trade package wasn't quite there, and he was there, and he's with the team, and he's excited to play. And I don't know. I just I guess in time we'll see what is really true and what's not. Hopefully he's okay. Yeah, he's a stellar player when he's on the field, and would love to see him when he's happy and balling and doing all that. But yeah, I don't quite know. It's a little strange.
Yeah, he's too good to give up on if you're them. But also, yeah, I mean, Arizona they're an interesting team because they, again, in the World Series 3 years ago now, but now they're kind of struggling to make the playoffs. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of barriers here with a player like this, because the team's being coy, but also, again, there's probably a language barrier and a lot of things that go into this. But yeah, I agree. He's just too good of a player and too valuable to the Diamondbacks for them to walk away from as well.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on which direction they're going, you just never know, because they've kind of been burned by Zach Gallen a little bit. They don't really have the pitching anymore that got them to that World Series. So
Yeah.
they have to kind of pivot and take a different direction. So yeah, maybe he gets moved in the offseason. Maybe there's something there. I don't know where his contract's at, what situation that is, but yeah, it's just unfortunate. So hopefully it's nothing related like, again, we saw with Clase and Ortiz, or whoever Luis Ortiz, was that his name? Like, that was a bad restricted list, and obviously they're still on the restricted list. So hopefully it's nothing like that. But just odd to see. And like I said, from a guy who's a perennial Gold Glove candidate and MVP candidate, very strange to see. It's been a weird. I was saying this earlier. It's been a weird baseball season. And again, is this the last one for a while? We don't know. But there's just been a lot of weird storylines, I feel like, and including the teams that are doing really well, like the Brewers. We just can't kind of put your finger on it. So this kind of goes with the theme of 2026, I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
for sure.
we will continue to watch down the stretch run here. Like I said, we're in the dog days of August. We have a month and a half of the season left. Hopefully the Cubs can kind of lock up some playoff aspirations soon. But yeah, it seems like, the races are kind of being run, and it's not really as close as you'd hope across all of baseball. So.
Right. Anything else like exciting for you? Like anything that's happening or happened recently? Like, is there anything that's like exciting you coming up, or?
I mean, I'm gonna try.
What's a fun? Is there a fun storyline for you?
story. I'm gonna try and go to the Cub Brewer game in Milwaukee.
Okay.
It's Labor Day week, so it's a weekday game.
Okay.
But it's like a Tuesday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. So I'm gonna try and go to one of those.
Okay.
I would love. I mean, the storyline I'm watching is I would love to have another Cubs Brewers playoff series. I think that'd be great for the
Yeah.
rivalry. I mean, another weird storyline I was following, even with like again these rivalries, is seeing people fighting in the bleachers at Wrigley. It didn't make a lot of sense, and not
No.
just White Sox fan and Cub fan. There was at one moment in the main brawl that happened on, I think it was Tuesday night. There was the Cub fan started beating up on the other Cub fan. So I don't know. It was just bizarre, like because these Sox fans and Cub fans were fighting. The Cub fan kind of initiated it, and then the Cub fan like got everybody off him, and then he started like punching his head. So I don't know. That was just weird. It's another weird. But I love the rivalry games. I love that they kind of institute that in the schedule. It's like everyone has a home and home series with their rival, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I've been following this week, was the brawls that were going on top of the walk-offs and all that stuff. But
For sure.
they were kind of breaking down the Cub fan beating up on the other Cub fan at the end of the brawl. So
yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I really we'll see how it pans out. I would love to get to like 1 to 2 more games, but I don't know how possible that's going to be. I mean, we're laying low. We've had a really busy summer so far. We just had Nick out last weekend and had a blast. Just hung out and went to the beach and disc golfed and went to some cool food spots, and just enjoyed each other's company before he hit his last long home stretch of the year. I think he said they have 12 games in 13 days. They had Monday. They came off the road. They had Monday off, and Nick said, I start my grind on Tuesday, and then it's gone till the end of the season.
T-Rats, though, set a franchise record already for home runs as a ball club. And the season's not over. They still have a decent amount of games left. They set this like 3 weeks ago. Braylon Payne set a franchise record. Now he's up in Biloxi. So this is, I'm sure, we talked to Nick the last couple of years, and he's like, yeah, the team's just not good. This has probably been a very fun year for Nick.
Fun year offensively. Lots of movement.
Mm-hmm.
And even when they move, BP went up. Luis went up. Lots of guys have gone up, but they just promoted 2 guys, Ebel and I feel like it's Strassmeyer or something like that. He was one of their reloading, but he had his first game in Appleton, hit a home run in his first game, and his dad caught the ball.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
So I think it's like Stoyer Strassmeyer from TCU. I think that's his name. But yeah, I'd love to go to a couple more games. When we're in Colorado, the Rockies will be at home. I think it'd be cool to sneak out to one of those games and then maybe get one more in Detroit or one more in Chicago. I would love to. We'll see how that kind of pans out. But exciting thing for me, I saw like today, obviously, the number 1 pitching prospect in baseball got called up to the Mariners, Cade Anderson, number 2 overall pick in the 25 draft. I got to see him at LSU at the College World Series. He was best pitcher, but this year just absolutely nasty lefty, tall lefty, fireballer. It's like 10-1 with like a almost sub 1 ERA. It's like a 106 ERA, 0.64 WHIP, and like 135 Ks and like 90. I think it was like 95 innings.
I mean,
so
2025 draft pick being called up in 2026 is pretty good. I think that's where the trend's going to go. Like, if you don't want to wait on these international kids, like, you need to fill up your low A roster, but like college players are ready to go, and you find out a lot sooner if they're going to be major league talent or not. So
and like young guy too. Like he was, I think he was like a 19-year-old sophomore or 20-year-old sophomore, but like he was draft eligible. And obviously the Mariners jumped at the opportunity to take him, best pitcher in the country, a couple years ago. But very young. I think he's 21 or maybe 22. So fun to see what he can do. And the Mariners are kind of they're in a spot where the division's up for grabs. So maybe he gives them a little spark. I don't know. I still think they could push a little bit.
So this brings me to a different point too, because obviously they lost 22-0 on Tuesday to the Brewers, and we're throwing a position player at the end of the game. Every inning, I've probably said this before, every inning in baseball is precious, right? You're telling me, even when you're down 13-0, that you don't have a kid who needs major league innings at this stage of the season? Come on. And we're throwing again, it's I hate when position players pitch. That is a issue I think they need to address. Because you could have, again, I'm sure there is someone in their organization that could use major league innings, that could be on the roster for those situations or that's struggling, that has a 6 ERA that you're trying to figure out if he has good stuff. Hey, pitch him in a game that is out of hand that you're just trying to get innings out of. I hate to see on the major league level when position players are pitching, especially throwing the eephus pitch, like
right.
Embarrassment. So yeah, if you're going to bring up your young kid, stud, yeah, get him in there. I don't care what the score is of the game. You guys shouldn't care. You're developmental at this point of the season, or maybe you're making a playoff push, but probably not, right? Like every inning matters. I think there's plenty of arms out there that need innings.
Right.
To be throwing
for sure. Agreed. Or if you're going to be a position player who pitches, throw some nasty stuff. Throw hard. Yeah. We all know they can throw hard. Just throw hard. Just do it. Who cares?
Yeah. It's that's my one, hopefully on the
CBA. It's like when POs get a chance to hit in a game, they're taking big daddy hacks. They're not trying to bunt. They're trying to hit one out. And why wouldn't you?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, plenty of storylines to watch this last month and a half. And let's see, again, hopefully the races heat up a little bit. And the extended wild card, I feel like everyone is still in it. So even the teams that are 3 or 4 games under 500, still on the cusp of playoffs. But if you get hot at the right time, Cal Raleigh, you can put your team over to the next level. All right, well, until next time, we'll watch more baseball. We'll capture it and talk about it next time. So,
like, subscribe, follow. Like, subscribe, follow. Go for it.
We have 39 now. We're up to 39.
Oh, we got a follower. Nice.
We jumped one. But yeah, we're gonna pop out some shorts here. Kind of been delayed on those, but get those moving as well. Get our viewership up. But yeah, until next time, Boots Come in Pairs. Take it easy.
Peace.